Welcome to Parliament. We should not frighten you. We are the same speaker.
Excellent. Very well, thank you, sir.
Kiongozi, how are you? Kiongozi, habari? Uko salama? Thank you very much. Sorry about the other day. Yeah. I went minority. How are you? Boni, habari yako? Uko salama? Mohamed, habari yako? Uko salama? Nyegenya, habari? Very good. Njoroge, how are you? Salama? Habari yako mungwana? You well? Hello, madam. Habari yako? How are you? Supposed to be in front. You can't go there. We're going straight to the lodge.
Accountability to the people of Kenya through their elected representatives. This is an agenda that has been achieved, and the members of cabinet, the cabinet secretaries, have been coming both to the National Assembly and the Senate, and they've been able to answer questions which have been asked by Kenyans through their representatives in both houses. The president also did commit during his last address to this house to restore the place of parliament in Kenya's democracy by respecting the autonomy and oversight authority of parliament on the executive. There on your screen is Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale making his way into the chamber, and a number of senators are now walking in. To the left, just on the aisle, is the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, who also is the Meru County Senator, walking into the National Assembly chambers to take his seat. There is the nominated Senator. This special sitting of Parliament was communicated both by the Speaker of the Senate and the Speaker of the National Assembly, and the President is expected to address it any moment now. When he last addressed Parliament, the President pledged to scale up productivity in agriculture and make sure that every Kenyan farmer, fisherman and pastoralist contributes to sustainable economic growth by contributing to adequate and affordable food. He also did pledge to allocate 50 billion shillings every year to the Hustlers Fund, from which micro, small and medium enterprises would access affordable credit to start and expand their businesses. the president said that there was tremendous opportunity for Parliament to fully take up its role in resolving the systemic issues that limit access to affordable homes and affordable financing. He did call Parliament to be at the center of ensuring that Kenyans have access to affordable homes. And perhaps that is another topic that the head of state might revisit so that he updates the country on what has been done so far to ensure that Kenyans have access to affordable living. We have seen the launching of affordable housing projects. Today, the president was in Ruto to inspect such a project, and he has on many occasions talked about the need for Kenyans to afford decent living. And Kenyans are already contributing to that every month. There are some deductions that are going towards the affordable housing. The president, when he last addressed Parliament on 29th of September, did speak about electricity, that the government shall facilitate the development of innovative and effective modalities to provide better off-grid systems, including enabling consumers to form small cooperatives for that purpose. We may perhaps revisit this and update the country on what has been done so far. And it is not just about infrastructural development. The president will update the country on what is being done to ensure that Kenyans uphold our national values. Those are some of the things that the head of state is expected to address. It is a speech this afternoon to this joint sitting of Parliament. In his previous address, he did speak about health, where he said that Kenya is bound by duty to take measures to make universal health coverage a reality and liberate Kenyans and their families from the threat harrowing poverty that stalks them every time a family member falls seriously ill. In the plan, then, he said that through the support of Parliament and through the support of all Kenyans, the government will restructure the primary healthcare system so that it puts more resources into promotive, preventive, and early diagnosis of diseases. That is one of the agendas of the Kenya Kwanza administration, and we did see a number of steps being taken both by the executive as well as Parliament to ensure that this is achieved, the universal health coverage is achieved in the country. When he also addressed Parliament last time, he did talk about the realization of the National Health Insurance Fund, whose restructuring is not only necessary for efficiency but also enables it become a fit-for-purpose social insurance scheme that caters for all, including chronic diseases. An update of that, of course, Kenyans are expecting this afternoon. The president also did address issues to do with digital technologies, which he said have become a critical player in economic growth. And what we have seen, what Kenyans have seen in the last couple of months is the steps which are being taken by the president, of course, through the cabinet secretary for information, communication, and the digital highway, digital economy, I beg your pardon, to ensure that the country is connected digitally. The president promised to capitalize on existing technology and innovation in public and private sector to distribute the Hustler Fund as promised in the Kenya Kwanza Manifesto. And he did call upon financial institutions and Kenya's young generation in innovation hubs to participate in the digital economy by redesigning their products to serve the goal of empowering millions armed with grand ideas and are only waiting for the fund to finance their dreams to reality. So Kenyans are expecting the head of state to announce the steps being taken to ensure that this is achieved. the State of the Nation address will begin anytime now, but the President is within the precincts of Parliament, and he will be making his way into the chambers, accompanied by the Speaker of the Senate and the Speaker of the National Assembly, that is Honorable Moses Wetangula and Honorable Amason Kingi, respectively. They will be leading, and they will be accompanying the head of state as he makes his way into the chamber to address this joint sitting and, of course, to address the nation at large. This is the State of the Nation address, and it takes place at least once or twice in a year, and it is an address that is being awaited with bated breath. Kenyans want the head of state to update them on what is being done to ensure that issues to do with the cost of living are addressed. There is some activity at the door. The members who are still within the precincts of Parliament are making their way into the chambers, and any moment now we do expect the head of state, accompanied by the speakers of Parliament, to walk into the chambers to allow this process to take place. Now, there will be a prayer by the Speaker of the Senate, and then there will be convocation by the Speaker of the Senate and by the Speaker of the National Assembly. The Speaker of the National Assembly will invite His Excellency the President to make his address. After, the head of state will address the House, and after that there will be an adjournment by the Speaker of the Senate and by the Speaker of the National Assembly. It is not the first time that this is happening. Kenyans have witnessed such occasions before, and what perhaps will vary is the content of that address. Every year, Kenya experiences unique challenges and unique types of progress, and that is what Kenyans are now waiting for, to hear what the head of state has to say regarding the state of this great nation. When he addressed this sitting in 2022, he committed and said that he was determined to ensure that Kenya's tax system is responsive to the needs of the economy. The head of state said that the tax system must be equitable, efficient, and customer-friendly. He did say that the economic principles of equitable taxation require that the tax burden reflects ability to pay. He said that this is best achieved by a hierarchy that taxes wealth, consumption, income, and trade in that order of preference. He said that Kenya's tax regime then fell short of that. The president said that the government then was overtaxing trade and undertaxing wealth. He did promise to propose tax measures that begin to move Kenya in the right direction. What is the status of this? Kenyans are perhaps going to be asking those questions and hoping that they will be answered this afternoon when the head of state makes that address. And he also said in his previous address to Parliament that the government will work with the Kenya Revenue Authority on a culture change to make it a people-friendly, customer-centric organization. He was of the view that it should be renamed to the Kenya Revenue Service in line with the proposed transformation. What is the status of that? Kenyans are waiting for the president to address that, perhaps. There On your screen are a number of members seated, and on your screen there is the corridor that is leading to the National Assembly chamber. On the wall on your right are the portraits of the former Speaker of the National Assembly, who is currently the Attorney General, Honorable Justin Muturi, and the far right is the current Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Moses Wetangula. On your screen is the Sergeant at Arms, followed by the maces. That is on the right, the mace of the National Assembly; on the left, the mace of the Senate carried there, and the clerk of the Senate, and followed by the President, accompanied by the speakers of the National Assembly and the Senate. I will now hand you over for this live broadcast of this special sitting of Parliament. The bicameral House is sitting this afternoon for the State of the Nation address. My name is Edward Kabasa. Enjoy your viewing.
Hiyo imekuwa ni bendi na Rais William Ruto.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, the Right Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, honorable members, let us pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with abundant favor and blessings us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests we've committed to our charge. Amen. You may be seated. Order, honorable members. Your Excellency, the Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, the Right Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable Moses Wetangula, AGH, MP, honorable members of Parliament. Article 132(1) of the Constitution of Kenya requires the President to address the special sitting of Parliament of Kenya once every year and at any other time. Further, Article 132(1)(c) requires the President to, among others, once every year, report in an address to the nation all the measures taken and the progress achieved in the realization of the national values set out in Article 10 of the Constitution. In addition, Article 240, subsection 7 of the Constitution requires the President, in his capacity as the chairperson of the National Security Council, to report to Parliament annually on the state of the security of the Republic. In this regard, therefore, pursuant to Article 132, 1b, and C1 and 2 of the Constitution, the Presidency, via the letter reference number OP/CAP.26/4A, Volume 2/52, informed the Speakers of the Houses of Parliament of the intention of His Excellency the President to deliver his address to Parliament. Consequently, pursuant to Standing Order number 25(1) and 2 of the Senate, I gave notice of today's special sitting to the honorable senators by Gazette Notice number 14716, which was published in the Kenya Gazette on Friday, 3rd November 2023. Accordingly, honorable members, this special sitting is properly convened. I thank you.
Your Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, CGH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces. The Right Honorable Amason Kingi, EGH MP, Honorable Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Article 131(b) of the Constitution of Kenya requires the President to address the nation once every year and at any other time. Further, Article 132(1)(c) requires the President to once every year report in an address to the nation on measures taken and progress achieved in the realization of our national values. Additionally, Article 132(1)(c) Roman 3 of the Constitution provides that the President shall submit a report for debate to the National Assembly on the progress made in fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic. In this regard, honorable members, by way of a message to the House dated 26 September 2023, His Excellency the President conveyed his desire to address a joint sitting of the Houses of Parliament today, 9th November 2023. Therefore, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 22 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, and by Gazette Notice number 14715, which was published in the Kenya Gazette on 3rd November 2023, I gave notice of this special sitting of Parliament to the members of the National Assembly. Accordingly, honorable members, this special sitting is properly convened. Your Excellency, in the custom of Parliament, we recognize invited guests seated in our galleries. I therefore wish to recognize
incomes and enhancing productivity. This House agreed with my cabinet that we waive Kenya shillings 117 billion non-performing debt for government-owned sugar factories, for which I am grateful to this House. This House also approved 1.7 billion shillings that will go into paying farmer arrears and other complications that arose out of the challenges our sugar sector was facing. I want to promise this House that in the next couple of weeks, we shall be dispersing that money so that farmers in the sugar growing area can go home for Christmas with their money. As earlier indicated, our public borrowing had long crowded out the productive sector from the financial markets, raising the cost of credit and slowing down trade and commerce. As I told Kenyans on my first day in office, times were difficult and many people are struggling, and necessary and effective sustainable solutions were urgently needed. We must admit, honorable members, that as a country, we had been living large and way beyond our means. The time has come, therefore, to retire the false comforts and illusionary benefits of wasteful expenditure and counterproductive subsidies on consumption, by which we dug ourselves deeper into the hole of avoidable debt. The new direction may not be easy, but it is ethical, responsible, prudent, and most importantly, necessary. We've had to take hard decisions and make painful choices because we owe it to the people of Kenya to do the right thing and to confront facts as they are without flinching or equivocating. We have worked hard at home and abroad to mobilize a broad coalition of bilateral development partners. Many of them, I see them in this House, multilateral development banks and other agencies, which have rallied to pull our country back from the brink of debt distress and set us today firmly on the path towards sustainable economic growth. Our efforts to stabilize the situation have yielded such progress that next month, in December, we will be able to settle the first Kenya shillings $300 million or 500 billion Kenya shillings installment of the US dollars 2 billion Eurobond debt that falls due next year. I can now confirm with confidence that we will and we shall pay the debt that has become a source of much concern to citizens, markets, and our partners. Having said this, I further announce to the nation that our intention, consistent with sustained effort here and abroad, have enabled us to normalize our relations with the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, the Africa Development Bank, and various development partners to such an extent that they are now working with us to implement the bottom-up economic transformation plan. As I earlier indicated, our public borrowing had long crowded our productive sector from the financial markets, raising the cost of credit and slowing down trade and commerce, especially the micro, small, and medium enterprises, including Mama Mboga. Consequently, many enterprises and entrepreneurs were referred for blacklisting by the credit reference bureaus, where 7 million borrowers were listed by last year. We committed to provide affordable and accessible credit and restore small business owners to good standing with credit rating agencies. A deliberate, targeted strategic financial inclusion fund, the Hustler Fund, providing affordable credit and mobilizing savings for individuals and small businesses, was launched on the 30th of November, 2022. The public response to the Hustler Fund has exceeded most initial projections and surprised even the most hardened skeptics. By the end of last month, the fund had disbursed Kenya shillings 36.6 billion and in savings, 2.3 billion, and with 7.5 million repeat borrowers, whose overall repayment rate is at 73%. The top borrower of the fund has so far accessed Kenya shillings 4.5 million in 816 transactions, while the top voluntary saver is at 631,491. In the intervening period, the Hustler Fund has also launched a group product which has attracted 50,000 active groups to the platform, and of which 20,000 have received 151 million Kenya shillings. The Hustler Fund has provided us not only the huge pent-up demand for affordable credit, but also the readiness of Kenyans to express or to embrace credit and savings and to pay their loans on time with minimum prompting. The notion that Kenyans are not creditworthy or are high-risk borrowers is nothing more than an unjust financial profiling, which has, in many instances, become a needless, self-fulfilling prophecy. Yesterday, when I called Harrison Karisa Kenga, a tuk-tuk operator in Mombasa, who has accessed 714,000 from the Hustler Fund, he suggested to me to find a way to have the fund provide asset financing so that he can buy for himself a tuk-tuk because the one he had was not his. I assured him that during my address today, I would ask the ministry responsible to respond to him. Consequently, I hereby direct the Ministry of Cooperatives and MSMEs to expeditiously engage Mr. Kenga. I will give you his telephone number. The impact of the Hustler Fund is summarized by a story of a Mr. Sospita Ondiek from Kisii. I suggest that the Kenyan film industry should look for him so that he can tell you his full story. Mr. Ondiek has a plumbing and tiling business in Kisii. And through the Hustler Fund, he has accessed 1.7 million in the many transactions he has undertaken to enhance our savings that have consistently been among the lowest globally, and to correct the delayed transformation of our social security architecture. Fundamental reforms are underway in our savings and social security space. As promised, we committed to take deliberate measures to foster a strong culture of savings amongst Kenyans and enable them